Ed Mahu here. Just thought I'd share this with you. I've got a scene here, just a snippet from a scene that I'm working on for my film. And if you look very carefully, I've zoomed in here so you can see the problem. Now, silly me, when I was filming, I was wearing a bright red hoodie. So that's something to consider when you're filming, depending on your location, what to wear. And as the actor is talking here, you can see in her visor a red blotch on the corner of the screen of a lens. I'm gonna go to here and just quickly play it for you. So
Situation
as
that,
she's moving her head, you can
and one
see
armed guard at the front.
there is a red blob in the corner of her visor. Now, it's more noticeable when you watch it in full quality and on a bigger screen. You can see my big body stood there. So I'm going to show you what I did to get rid of that, how to get rid of it, depending on the software that you're using. So I'm going to go back. You can see me here. That's my figure there. And in later scenes, you see a bit more of me as well. So I'm going to show you what I did to get rid of that, because it can be annoying when you're watching a film and all you see is something that doesn't start look right, and you focus on that instead of watching the story. So that's me there. You can see more of me here now, circular there. And I'm going to go to this next clip, which is exactly the same zoom in, and now it's gone. So I'm going to show you what I did. It's actually gone there. You can see now that you can't see me anymore on the red blotch. And this is the actual clip here.
Situation that,
It's normal ratio.
and one armed guard at the front.
So you're focusing more on the actual scene rather than looking at what's in the actor's eye visor. And it can be quite annoying actually as a filmmaker. So just double check to make sure that when you're going to film a scene, they're the little things that you don't notice until you get back into the studio and you watch it, all the rushes back, and you think, oh no. So that was a mistake on my part. So I'm going to show you what I did to get rid of that. Okay, so here we are. And here's the footage I was showing you earlier on. Now, I've imported the footage that I want. So remember to make sure you keep a copy of what you're doing. So if you damage it, you've got the original still there, because you don't want to damage the original. So when you render it as, which means you've got a copy of the original. So at the moment, it calls this layers. So if you're working as, say, a photographer, you'll understand the layers. But as a filmmaker, we're going to call these frames. I'm going to call them frames. So these are all the frames of the video footage, what are known as layers. And each layer, each frame has a number. So you know exactly which frame you're working on. So for example, this frame here at the top, if you look at the mouse here, that says 66. So I'm going to start with 66. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom into the area that I want to work on. So I'm going to use my magnifier and I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to really zoom in so you can see the problem. And the problem is this big red, just swap the mouse pointer over, this big red blotch here. And I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm going to show you what I did to get rid of it. So I'm just going to mark around the area that I want to work on. So which is here. If you can look, you can see that there. I'm going to move that here. And then I'm going to choose the color. So it's red. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to here. And then I'm going to get rid of the red, which was so annoying. Make sure you select the layer, which is 66. Here's the layer. So I'm going to select the layer here. And then I'm going to select the color I want, which is red. Okay. Then I'm going to remove the red. Now, if you look very carefully, I'll bring it up again. I'm going to really blow it up there. That's what I want to get rid of. And that's what's causing the problem. So I'm going to take it down. and I've removed the red top that I was wearing. Now remember, you're working in frames here or layers. So if I go to the next frame, stroke layer, the actor is moving. So it's almost like you're masking in real time. Okay, so you have to make sure when you do your masking, 7 there, you make sure that you're moving in real time or animating it. But sometimes what can happen there is if you get it wrong, you can notice it. This way you're physically altering the frame. So I'm physically altering this frame. So I'm going to repeat the process so you can start recording your process and you can just click a function where you can get rid of it. So but because I'm doing it in real time, I'm going to show you, give you examples so you can decide what you want to do. So I'm just going to go back to here again, and then I'm going to select the color that I want, which is red. And I'm going to just use this saturation slider and I'm going to take it down until the red disappears. So the red has now gone. And that's what you do. So just by showing you this alone, imagine you're using visual effects and you shoot at a wall and the camera is moving. Sometimes when you use tracking, it's hard to keep the objects in that spot. So you can use this method to add the bullet holes and they stay in the same place. I'm sure you may have come across that. It's time consuming, but if you really want to get this scene looking right, it's worth doing. And that's what I do. So it's just for this scene and a couple of other parts that are worth doing because they're vital to the scene of the film. And so you can see here, the go back, it's moved, and it's not affecting the actual image at all. But go further on, you can see that there is the red there again. So make sure you only import the scene you want to work on, not the whole thing, because it can take quite a while. It's time consuming to render it. And but once it's done, you've should be pleased with what you've finished with. You can change the frame rate and you can do all this to suit your film. And if you're really fussy, if you look around the visor here, there's a slight patch missing there, and you could actually mend all that and all these little marks. But that's part of the scene. That's the actor's cap, and it's been used so many times. It's been through a battle zone, so you want to keep those. But just an example of what you can do with when you've got a problem in post. Thanks for listening.